Okay, so we're going to get straight in on this one. So look, we've got 6 cups of onion, 4 or 5 tablespoons of ground flour, 3 tablespoons of fresh coriander, 2 teaspoons of salt, 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 tablespoons of a curry powder, and 1 tablespoon ginger garlic paste. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to get a mixing bowl, and we're going to put our onions in there, which I've cut nice and thin, sliced them thinly, and we're going to add just the salt. Put the salt in, give it a mix, and leave it for 5, 6, 7 minutes. What we're trying to do here is just get some of the moisture out of the onions. So once we've done that, we can just drain off any liquid that came out, or you can give it a little squeeze if you want, no problem. Simply, we're going to add our ingredients. So I'm going to go in with the fresh coriander. You can add mint to this as well if you want. That lemon juice gives it a lovely flavour. The ginger garlic paste. I'm using a curry powder, you know, like a masala powder. In that goes. Let's give that a little mix around. So we're going to add the gram flour, or chickpea flour, or besan, whatever you call that. I'm adding up 3 or 4 tablespoons now. We're going to give it a mix, and you can add like 4 or 5 in total. It kind of depends on the consistency that you like. So you're going to have to kind of eyeball it a little bit. So give that a mix around there. And as you can see, I'm going to add 1 more tablespoon to that. And then I think that's going to be fine for me. But like I say, you're really going to have to eyeball this. A little mix, and then you can form it into any shapes you want. You can drop it into the hot oil in kind of little shreds and strands if you want, or you can kind of make them into kind of nice kind of little patties or balls. It's entirely up to you. Now you can see that we're going for that kind of size and shape. I kind of think if they're too big, they don't cook very nicely. Do you know what I mean? They're a bit kind of soggy in the middle, and we want them nice and crispy, I think. So now you've decided on the shape and size of your bhaji or pakora or pakora. What we're going to do is get them into some oil. So I'm using a vegetable oil, sunflower oil in fact, but any oil works. Entirely up to you. Now you can really deep fry them, or you can shallow fry them. Now what's important is the oil needs to be hot, but you don't want it really crazy hot. You know, we're not making French fries here, because they're just going to kind of burn on the outside and not cook in the middle. So really nice and hot, but not crazy hot. Very simply, we just pick one up, we drop them in, and we're just going to cook them for about 3 or 4 minutes aside. Job done. They're absolutely delicious. So once they're done, get them out, put them onto some paper towel or something like that, you know, just to get some excess oil from them, and they're delicious. So you can have them with some mint chutneys, some, you know, some other kind of raita or something like that. Delicious, delicious. I love them. Hello, how you doing? Look, we're going to do some ground meat today. You can use beef, or like me, you could use lamb. Entirely up to you. It's very, very simple. So I've got 3 cups of ground meat, 2 cups of tomato, and 1 cup of onion. I'm using coconut oil. We're just going to melt that in, and then add 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. Just a minute or so. Then we're going to put in the chopped onion, which I've cut really small, by the way, and we're going to go for about 4 minutes. Stir fairly often. Beautiful stuff. Next up, we're going to go in with the meat of choice. Salt. And then we're going to go for about 5 minutes. You need to stir quite a lot now. Fabulous stuff, fabulous stuff. Okay, 1 tablespoon ginger garlic paste. That's a 50-50 mix of the two. Fresh chili to taste. You can put as much or as little in as you like. Couple of minutes here. Then here we go. 1 teaspoon turmeric. 1 teaspoon coriander. 1 teaspoon chili, well maybe 2 actually. And 1 of cumin powder. Nice little mix there. Then goes in the 2 cups of fresh tomatoes. Try and use a nice ripe juicy tomato. You want those to really break down. Probably going to be another 5 minutes or so, again on this lively heat. You can see they've got some moisture now from the tomatoes. We're going to go in with 1 cup of peas. These were a frozen pea, and what I've done is I just washed them through with some water. 1 cup of water. I'm using cold water. And let's now go for 5 to 6 minutes. Beautiful stuff. Very, very easy, simple to make. Little bit of garam masala powder in just at the end. Check it for salt. Job done. Hello, how you doing? We're going to make some butter chicken today. Loads of ways of making this. This is our quick, easy little version. Absolutely delicious. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. So I've got 3 cups of chicken breast. No skin, no bone, and I've cut that into kind of nice little strips. I'm going to add a 1/4 teaspoon of a red food colour. I'm using powder, but if you wanted, you could be using a liquid. 1 teaspoon of green cardamom powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, and a teaspoon of salt. I'm also going to add to that 2 teaspoons of dried fenugreek, also known as methi. A very distinctive flavour that has, it's really delicious. And then 1 tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. What we're going to do is give that a mix. Now, because of the food colouring, either use a spoon or, like me, put a glove on. You don't want to go in with your bare hands. That colour will get all over you and it'll be very difficult to get off. Very simple. Then what we're going to do, once we give this a little mix, we're going to get over to the cooker. Now I'm starting this off with some ghee, a tablespoon of ghee, which is a clarified butter. If you want, you could just use regular butter. We're going to add 4 whole cardamom pods and 1 teaspoon of cumin seeds. On an above medium heat, we're going to add the chicken and we're going to cook that just for 5 minutes. And once the chicken is started to cook there, we're going to remove it, stick it to one side, just stick it in a container, stick it to one side, but keep the pan there. We don't need to clean the pan, we're going to go straight in there. Now I'm starting mine off with 400 ml or a regular size can of mashed tomatoes. Some people would make this with tomato puree only. I'm using this canned tomato here. We're going to add about another tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. Again, we're going to add a tiny amount, like a 1/4 teaspoon of the red colour. Again, be very careful with this stuff. Coriander powder, 2 teaspoons. Chili powder, 2 teaspoons. I'm using a Kashmiri chili powder if you're interested. Okay, we're just going to keep this on an above medium heat and we're going to cook it for just 2 to 3 minutes. We're going to add some salt to taste. A little bit more of the methi. This time what I'm doing with the dried methi is just crushing it in my hand, rubbing it, and it goes in. And then back in goes our cooked chicken. That really sort of vibrant red colour now, of course, because of the food colouring. We're going to go just for like 2 to 3 minutes now. Next up, a nice tablespoon, or maybe just above, of butter. Just work that in. Again, we're on this above medium heat pretty much all the way here. Just work that butter into the sauce as it melts. We are then going to add ground cashew nuts. I just stuck them in, in the machine and got them in, ground them up. There's about a cup there, but you can really adjust that. You can put less in if you want. Again, we're going to go just for a couple of minutes here, stirring pretty much all of the time. Next up, I'm going to add some cream. Now, I'm using a thick cooking cream. You can use a thin cream. It doesn't matter thick or thin, it's up to you. Again, I've got roughly 1 cup of cream. Some people would put less cream in than this. I like it quite creamy. We've then chucked in a little nice pinch, maybe half a teaspoon of garam masala powder. We're going to work that in. Look at that, beautiful. No onions in this, by the way, as you may have noticed. So keep it moving all the time now, mixing it in. We're going to go for another 2 minutes here. Look at that, absolutely amazing. Off goes the heat. A little bit of fresh cilantro or coriander, whatever you call that. Check it for salt. It's going to be absolutely perfect for me. That is delicious. So fabulous with rice or with bread, a few cashews and a bit more cilantro on the top. That's it. Keep safe, keep well. See you soon. Lots of love. So bhuna, we've got a bhuna on the go today, a lamb bhuna or a lamb curry. Bhuna, I think it's Urdu for fry. I think it translates to fry. It's quite a dry curry we're making today. Obviously very, very famous in the UK. A lamb or chicken bhuna is a big thing on a Friday or a Saturday night. This is delicious. Serving this with some chapati. Okay, so I've got 1 onion there, fairly large onion, cut nice and small using a red onion. 4 tomatoes. Here's my lamb. I've got a nice cut of leg there. A little bit of fat on it, but there's no bone in there. There's about 500 grams there, or 600 grams maybe. 1 tablespoon of garlic ginger paste. Red chili I'm using today, use green, no problem. 2 teaspoons of fennel seeds, 2 teaspoons of black mustard seeds, and then the big 4 here. But let's take a look at it. We've got 1 teaspoon of turmeric and 1 teaspoon of cumin, and then 2 teaspoons coriander and chili powder. I'm using a Kashmiri chili powder there. So basically, you need twice as much tomato to the onion and to your meat. Let's get to the cooker. There's going to be a few more bits in this, but it's very, very easy. Okay, so I've got some oil in there. I'm using a mustard oil. You could use ghee if you want as well. Let's start off by dropping in the black mustard seeds and the fennel. A few seconds in that oil. Then we're going to go in with our onion. Now we're going to add our garlic ginger paste. Salt. We're on a high heat, as you can see in here. We're going to go for about 3 or 4 minutes. Fabulous stuff. Now there's 2 ways to go now. Next you could put your meat in and fry that around Or what we're going to do today is we're going to go tomatoes. So in they all go. We're going to cook our tomatoes first. Let's drop that chili in. And then let's put our spices in. Let's take another look, shall we? So I've got 1 teaspoon of turmeric, 1 of cumin, 2 of chili, and 2 of coriander. In that goes there. Now what I want to do is I want to cook this now for about 6 or 7 minutes. We really want to cook this down. Give it a stir every now and then. We might get some moisture from the tomatoes. Okay, so you can see that our tomatoes and onions are cooking down nicely. They still need to go more. But what we're going to do now is we're going to drop in our lamb. Now, if you're using a kind of cheaper cut like a mutton or something, I would have done this the other way around. I would have put the meat in, cooked it a little bit, and then added the tomatoes. But because we've got a nice cut here, it's possible for it to go in right now. Okay, all we're going to do now, it's very simple, is we're going to get a lid on this, lower the heat to just above a simmer, and we're going to let it go for about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. Do not add any water. This masala or curry does not require any water whatsoever. We're kind of relying completely on the tomatoes there. So nice low heat, 20-25 minutes, depending on the quality of the lamb that you've got and also how big you've cut it. Give it a stir every now and then. Okay, let's jump in now. Just to let you know, I've just turned the heat back up to maximum. Out we come, there's some steam out of there. Now you can see that those tomatoes have really cooked down. Like I said, don't put any water into this one. So we've gone from a nice low heat to a maximum heat just now. We're going to keep the lid off and we're going to go for about another 5 or 6 minutes, stirring fairly often. We kind of want to dry this out a little bit. So you can see this is fried out and kind of dried. That's kind of where I like it. So off goes the heat. Nice big pinch of garam masala powder in there, along with some fresh cilantro. Give that a little mix. Beautiful. Check that for salt. It's going to be fine for me. And there we go. I'll see you at the table. And that's it, beautiful. Nice dry fried bhuna. Serving this with some simple chapati. Try it with paratha or with some rice, of course. Hello, how you doing? Today we're going to make this prawn or shrimp curry. Really tasty. Coconut, chilies, beautiful spices. It's fantastic and it's very easy. Okay, so we've got 1 cup here, these 4 of each here. So we've got potatoes cut nice and small, coconut milk, tomatoes. What I've done with those tomatoes is I've stuck them in my food processor to get them really nice and smooth. If you don't have time or don't have a food processor, just cut them really small. Onion, again, cut small. The shrimps or prawns, so there's just under 3 cups there. It's about 2.5, 2 3/4 cups there of them. They were a frozen one. What I've done is just put them in some cold water, let them sit, and they usually come with like a big kind of glaze of ice around them. So that was 1 kg in the packet, but 50% of it is ice, to be honest. So there's about 500 grams there. Okay, I've got some fresh chili slit down the middle like that. You can put in as many as you want. I've got a teaspoon there of garam masala powder, a tablespoon of ginger garlic paste, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, and then some powders, the big 4. What we've got is half a teaspoon there of turmeric, 2 teaspoons of chili, I'm using Kashmiri chili, and then 1 teaspoon cumin, 1 teaspoon coriander. In here we've got our whole spices, little bit there of stick of cinnamon, about a teaspoon of black peppercorns, 3 or 4 green cardamoms, and 3 black. Let's get to the cooker and get this going. Okay, so I'm using coconut oil today. You can use a different oil if you want. I've got a nice heaped tablespoon of that. Just going to melt that down. So the heat is on above medium. We're going to start off by dropping in a couple of teaspoons there of cumin seeds, cinnamon, black cardamom, green cardamom, and black peppercorns. Now with the cardamoms, if you want, especially with the black ones, you can crush them and open them out a little bit, or you can put them in just like I have, just like that. So a few seconds here, never skip this step, really quite important. Then we're going to go with 1 cup of onion, and we're going to go for about 4 minutes or so on this vibrant heat. Beautiful. Now get that 1 cup of potatoes that we've cut small, get them in. I'm going to add a little bit of salt now, and we're going to go for another 3 or 4 minutes. Again, keep it moving. Great stuff. Next up, the tablespoon of ginger garlic paste. And I always say this, if you're a regular to the show, you can buy it in you can buy it in every single Indian store, most Asian stores. Obviously you can get it online, and like us, you can make it yourself. We use loads and loads of it, of course, here, so we make it ourselves. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're going to get the 1 cup of tomatoes, fresh tomatoes, in they go. And like I say, stuck these into my food processor. Again, because we cook so much, we do this in big batches. You don't have to do this, you can just cut them nice and small. We're now going to add in our fresh chili, as much or as little as you like. And then spices, so the big 4, double the amount there of chili powder to the cumin and the coriander, and then half a teaspoon of the turmeric. About 5 minutes now, again staying on the vibrant heat. We want those tomatoes to cook down. We might even get some moisture from them. So as the tomatoes have cooked, lots of moisture has come out, as you can see. If you didn't get that, don't worry. We're now going to drop in our shrimps or prawns, and again we're staying on this vibrant heat for 4 minutes only. Okay, now 1 cup coconut milk. To that we're going to add a teaspoon of garam masala powder. Garam masala powder is a beautiful kind of mixture, nice kind of finishing powder actually, very, very essential in many dishes. And we're going to go now for another 4 minutes. Stay on this vibrant above medium heat. You've done it. Okay, and off goes the heat. That is absolutely banging. Spicy, creamy, delicious. If you want, you can get some cilantro or coriander in there and give it a mix. I'm just going to put a bit on the top. Let me get that on the table. All right, there you go, job done. A beautiful coconut but spicy prawn or shrimp curry. Hello, how you doing? Look, we're going to make chicken biryani today. It's a nice simple method. It's really, really delicious. It's one of my favorite dishes of all time. So of course with a biryani, there's quite a lot on the go here. So let's start off with this lot. I've got here yogurt or curd, whatever you call that, a plain yogurt. I'm going to say yogurt. That's 1 kg. Now what's important is when you get it, whisk it so it goes smooth, otherwise it gets a bit lumpy. So just get a whisk in it for just a couple of minutes. 3 cups of onions, 2 cups of fried onions. These are already fried. Now I buy these, I buy them where I am. I can buy these very easily, like in a big bag, or you can just fry them and set them aside. Half a cup of ginger garlic paste, which is a 50-50 mix of the two. We've got 6 green chilies. Now you can adjust that if you want, and I'm putting mine in whole. Chop them if you wish. 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and then 2 teaspoons of coriander, cumin, and chili powder. The chili powder that I'm using is Kashmiri. A lot of people ask me that. And then we've got some whole spices here. So got about a teaspoon of black peppercorns, 6 green cardamom pods, teaspoon or so of cumin seeds, 1 star anise, 3 dried red chili, bay, bit of cinnamon. Right, that's some of it. There's a lot more to go in this. And then our chicken. So that's 2 whole chickens there. The skin's been taken off, a little bit still on there, but mostly all off. Bone is in. What I've got there is 2 kg, so you know, a 1 kg chicken. Chicken, that's about 4.4 pound. So in that mixing bowl, you can see that we've got our chicken. We're gonna add, got a glove on by the way, we're gonna add our ginger garlic paste. We're gonna add our dried fried onion. We're going to add in our spices. Let's take one more look. 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and then 2 each of the chili powder, coriander, and the cumin. I'm also going to add here, which I didn't show you, a 1/4 cup coconut oil, and then the 1 kg of the yogurt or curd. And like I say, don't just put it straight in from the container. Give it a little whisk up there. So we haven't put in the whole seeds or the whole garam masala, the fresh chili, and the fresh onions. We're going to do this in a moment, but first let's just give this a little mix, and then we can get over to the cooker and get this beautiful chicken biryani happening. So look, before we get going, I've got a really large pot. Now if you're a regular to the show, that's what I normally cook in. So you can see the difference. This is bloody huge, this thing. And you're gonna need something with a nice tight lid, if you can. So you can see in there, I've now got ghee. I'm using some ghee. I've got this pure cow ghee. Again, start it with oil if you want, but I'm gonna go with the ghee today. There's about 4 tablespoons there. And I've just put the heat on. We're on an above medium heat. Let's just melt that down. I'll be back in a moment. So here we go. We can drop in that piece of cinnamon, the dried red chili, the bay, the star anise, and then we're going to go cumin seeds, black peppercorns, and green cardamom pods. You can change this completely. Like I've only got 1 little bay in there. Some people would put a bit more bay in. You can put more dried chili, less dried chili, maybe some black cardamom or something like that. Up to you. Let it do its thing for a few seconds. Then we're going to put in the 3 cups of onion, our fresh chili. Like I said, I'm putting mine in whole, but chop them if you want. So above medium heat, we're going to go for about 4 or 5 minutes. Beautiful, really beautiful. Right, let's grab that chicken, and that's all going to go in. Scrape all the bits out that you can. We're going to lower the heat now below medium, nothing really too high, and we're going to cook this for around about 20 minutes. Really delicious, really, really delicious. So while the chicken is cooking away, I want to look at the rice. I've got 8 cups of rice here. This is a basmati rice, and I've washed it through a couple of times, 2 or 3 times in cold water, drained it off. Now, the rice that I use is a company called India Gate. It's really important to buy expensive rice. There's a lot of kind of cheap quality rice on the market. You basically pay for what you get. This is fairly expensive. So yeah, just try and get a kind of, well, the more you pay, the better it's going to be, I would imagine. So 8 cups of that. I'm going to put that into water, and we need to cook that about 75 to 80% of the way. So you cook it for, 5 or 6 minutes. So it will be cooked, but it will have a little bite in it, kind of al dente. If you want, you could add some more, whole seeds in there, some cumin seeds, whatever, coriander seeds, bay leaf, again, the whole kind of garam masala stuff. I'm going to do it just plain, just with a touch of salt. That is looking really beautiful, really, really good. Okay, let's get some salt in the mix. Let's get some garam masala powder. A couple of teaspoons of that. Garam masala powder is like a kind of finishing spice. It's a blend. I've made it several times, I think, on the channel. You can see it. I'm going to add a cup of raisins. You could put sultanas in there. Just a nice little kind of bit of sweetness it adds. Then 2 cups of cilantro or coriander. And then 2 cups of chopped mint, or nana, as we call it in this part of the world. Let's just go for 5 more minutes. Then we should be ready for our rice. Okay, that's beautiful. So look, I'm going to turn the heat off. That really, really is delightful. Now, sometimes with a biryani, what we would do is we'll put a little bit of the meat in, then layer it with rice, meat, rice, like that. What we're going to do today is we're just going to leave that in there. I'm going to fetch the rice now that we've cooked about 75%, so it's just got a little bit of a bite to it, and we're going to just put it on top. So 8 cups here of the cooked basmati. About 75% done. Now what we need to do is we're going to get the heat on, but super low, really, really low. Sometimes what you can do is you can get a frying pan or a hot plate or something underneath that on top of the gas, so it goes in between the gas and this. I'm going to go just really low, and then you need a lid on it, and you need a lid that's really quite nice and tight. This one's fairly tight. If you don't have it that's tight, what you can do is get some pastry. You can make a little pastry of just flour and water and put it all around the edge and seal it. If you've got any holes in it, this one doesn't have a hole, sometimes there's a little hole here. Get a little bit of tissue, make it wet, cover it up. Really, really low heat. We're going to go for about 20-25 minutes. Okay, off goes the heat. Off comes the lid. Lots of steam will come out of there. That's looking beautiful, really beautiful. So that rice is cooked to perfection now. Let me just check that. Perfect. So it's all about when you serve it, we're going to give it a kind of a bit of a mix, so we're going to just turn it in like so. Let me get that served up. So there's a really big plate of it, and there's loads more still in the pot. What I've done, just put some cilantro or coriander on the top and slices of lime around the edge. Now I'm going to eat that just with a little bowl of curd or something like that, just a little bit of yogurt. Really simple, really delicious. I love that. Hope you enjoy that. Keep safe, keep well, and I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Hello everyone, an update about the cookbooks. Well, the first one is now finally available. It's on Amazon. You can get it in an ebook, $3.99, very, very cheap. 195 pages of wonderful food from the Indian continent. It's flicking by you right now. Do me a favor, do yourself a favor, and please buy that. It helps the channel out a great deal. It's also available in paperback if you want that. Check the link below this video. You can just click that, buy it. Thanks a lot. Lots of love.